Hot Mike Hunting with Row here at OutKick.com. Glad you're with us today and pleased to be joined by Vanderbilt head coach Clark Lea. Back on the we're just going to call you a co-host now, a contributor to the show. At this
It feels
point.
that way, doesn't it?
I'm cool with it too. Love the Heisman hat. Diego Pavia for Heisman. I've already said that would be where my vote would go. I don't have one. If you could help me get one, that would be great. But I can't wait for the finalists to be announced because we know he will be one, right? What sucks is I knew you weren't going to be in the playoff as well. Just based on the process. It's not based on your resume. And I'm curious, did you even need to watch the show?
No, I didn't watch. I think by the time we got to that point, it was pretty clear. And
Yeah.
it was important for me to fight for this team last week, and really just speak to everyone my belief in this group of guys and this staff. And look, I still believe that we're deserving to be one of the 12, and I still believe that if we were allowed in, we would have a chance to make a run at it. And yet here we are, man. And I told this to the team yesterday. There are no mistakes. This is exactly where the program needs to be, and we can be frustrated with the process, but also we have to take ownership of our part in that. We're one score away in Alabama. We're one stop away at Texas, and that's our ownership in it. So just like anything, like we have a responsibility. We didn't do enough. There were plenty of coaches that weren't having to politic for their teams because those programs had solidified their place in the top 12. We didn't do that. And so we fought for what we wanted, but we came up short, and now we get the opportunity, a great blessing to go have one more attempt to close out the season in Tampa, which is a really great reward.
Did you even need to hold a vote?
A vote in terms
to play
of
the bowl game. I mean, you guys are Pavi's playing, right?
Yes, I don't. It's just there's no hesitation. This group, look, and I think obviously we got some highly regarded draft prospects, and we got to, I want to be respectful of their process too. But when it comes to our program and our team, this team likes playing football, and this is what we get is a chance to play one more game together. The other thing too embedded in this is, we're gonna get 20 extra days of work, and now we won't work all 20, but let's call it 15. I mean, that's not insignificant when you're talking about developing the foundation of your roster and getting reps to guys that haven't had a chance to be out there as much this season. I think that's a huge advantage to these bowl opportunities. And in this place, man, we like playing football and we like each other, and so it's just a chance to hang out around the game we love. And we're not going to miss out on that opportunity.
I know you're cool with discussing this process and what just happened, even though you're preparing for a bowl game, because this is our chance to do this. And you will be one of those voices now to affect change if we're going to speak on behalf of the teams that didn't get in, right? This was my TV on the selection show. Resumes, 3 resumes pop up. You're a 10-2 team in the SEC. Where is Vanderbilt in this resume comparison? You weren't asked about the college football playoff when you beat Tennessee at Neyland Stadium on the sideline. This is where it gets me, because I didn't hear the case being made for Vanderbilt. And you say it's a part of your process and the path. That might be true, because we're talking about whether or not Indiana, with one loss last year, was relevant compared to Bama last year. But Coach, I mean, you know your resume. You know what's the foundation of the season. And you know the SEC, and we have Big Ten players saying that the SEC is better and more competitive than Ohio State in their schedule. That to me matters, and the way you finish the season, you've handled it with class. Your team has been very professional about this, but I don't feel like deep down I would feel good about it.
So, and interesting on that graphic, in terms of strength of schedule and strength of record, we would be second in both those behind Alabama, just compared against those teams.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on the FPI measure, but obviously, look, I think the reason that we weren't brought up, and that is frustrating personally to me,
it has because
I think what happened is once we were locked in at 14th. whatever that was last Tuesday, I think it was assumed that we weren't getting in. So we stopped being a part of those conversations. I think this is a vote for just ending these kind of week by week releases that
Yeah.
actually have way more impact on the narrative. And living in a world now where narrative is really important. I mean, there's no corner that the conversations don't reach. And when we're releasing rankings every week, you're actually doing more harm than you're doing good in terms of letting it play out the way it should play out. So I think if this were, we were all awaiting the final ranking Sunday without having rankings been released, there's no way that Vanderbilt's not on that graphic. And what the world would see then is, wow, this is a really good team, and they have a really strong case to be in. Unfortunately, they had already kind of moved past us by the time Sunday came around.
You kind of know my slogan by now. When in doubt, brand wins out for this. It's hard for me to say that, though, with Notre Dame being left out as well. Like, that's a huge brand.
Yeah.
Do you feel, did they get screwed too? Or, like, are you on Freeman's side with this?
Well, again,
You know
I
what I'm
wanna go
saying?
back
Like,
and say-
there's a lot of teams right now that are feeling deserving. I just didn't hear your case being made enough.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think we again. Fault is the wrong way to put it. I think I would give kind of the reason we weren't being talked about enough. I believe was because the rankings had already been released to a level that kind of said,
Yeah.
hey, we were on the outside of it. As far as Notre Dame goes, I mean, I hurt for them. That's a tough reality. But I go back to kind of what my personal philosophy is on this, which is like there are no mistakes. Look, you have to go above and beyond. I mean, there are plenty of teams and plenty of coaches that weren't having to pound the pavement the way we were to get attention. And the reason is some of that could be brand. I would argue that a lot of the brand conversation has to do with how long it took us to be recognized and ranked. And it was like this, we were fighting for respect. Hopefully that kind of bias is short-lived as we continue to strengthen our program. But look, at the end of the day, there were 11-1 teams, there were 12-0 teams, and there were teams that handled their business to a level that left no doubts. And my belief is that is our ownership in it. So we needed to be stronger, and I'm sure part of Notre Dame's perspective is, like find a way to win one of those two games early, and there is no conversation. So again, it's frustrating. I heard for them because I know those guys worked so hard, just like my team worked hard. And at the end of the day, you're talking about 10-2 teams.
I know.
So hey, look, I'm not going to be offended by it though, and I'm not going to be victimized by it. This is about needing to do more to cross the line. We didn't do enough, and so now we get a chance to go celebrate the finish of the season in Tampa.
Hey, if you like the channel, become a season ticket holder for Hot Mic by clicking the subscribe button below and join the conversation in the comments section. Agree, disagree, we'll join you there in the chat. Now back to Hot Mic. Maybe it's a bad comparison. This is just how dumb I am. Can you reach out to the committee member like I could reach out to a jury member, or a jury member could like a defense attorney could reach out to me if I'm on a jury after the case has been heard? Like, can you talk to them about what they discussed?
And there's ways for us to get feedback as we go too, and the feedback we get. I mean, I think the process is actually very transparent. And what is said publicly is what is said on the private line too. But we'll talk more about this as we get into off season. Obviously,
Okay.
I'll sit in meetings with some of the committee members. As we work through our SEC stuff, and that'll give us a chance to get some more perspective. This is going to be way less to me about the process that has just been executed and way more about the process moving forward. And that's where I really want to be able to have impact and try to help change. And the change to me starts with, well, I guess it starts with how many teams. And to me, the more the merrier. But it's really gonna center on these automatic bids. I think we do this in a way to try to control certain aspects, and I think that's the wrong mentality. Like this needs to be about a merit-based, the 12 or 16 best teams in the country, independent of anything else. That could include 8 SEC teams, 9 SEC teams, 8
Yes.
Big Ten teams. It doesn't matter. It's about the merit of what they've gone through, and then we need an objective way to decide that merit. It should not be as human as it is right now, and Hey, look, you don't go through March Madness without the great debates of who's in, who's out, and what the computer said. So there's never going to be a
That's right.
perfect system for this. But I think we can get closer in focus with where the game has gone with respect to how strong we are in the SEC, how strong the Big Ten is, and from there, understanding the fact that representation from those conferences is going to exceed the limits of automatic bids.
I hear that, and I'm not speaking for you on this. This is just my opinion. I look at these spreads right now for the first opening rounds. Ridiculous. I know you guys were like 10-2 or something. I don't know if you know that. 10-2 against the spread.
Right.
Again, I'm looking at competition. You guys are one of the top 12 teams in college football. We know that. You mentioned the process, though. This also, I'm thinking to myself, perspective. The university has invested fully in football at Vanderbilt. They've leveled up with you. They leveled up with your staff, facilities, the intangible aspects of a program that you have dreamt about, right? You stayed at Vanderbilt. We haven't seen that. That's a win. That's a huge win. You have a Heisman Trophy finalist. That's a huge win. First time ever that we're going to have someone represented from Nashville at Vanderbilt in New York for this.
That's right.
That's a building block, and now you capitalize on this. You've got a 5-star quarterback coming in that you flip from Georgia. Again, all of these storylines lead up to where you're going. Do you look at Indiana, for instance, and how fast they've turned that around, and think that's the next step? Is just continuing the perspective and perception of a program that didn't get enough of respect this year, didn't last year, but more this year, and now you can take the next huge step that. Certainly, we shouldn't doubt you guys anymore.
Yeah, no, I all of that, and that's why spending less time kind of on the season pass and more time on how we project it all forward. That's going to be what we center on. I mean, you're talking about again, Diego having a real shot at this Heisman and should be the winner. By our accounts.
I agree.
Eli Stowers is up for the Campbell Award. He's up for the Mackey Award. Diego won the Johnny Unitas Award. I mean, there's a lot.
Let me jump in, hey, real quick. You guys are one of the most well-coached teams in America, too. I mean, you and your staff have done a tremendous job. I've said this privately. I've said it publicly. I'm telling you, too. Like, you won't add yourself in there. I'm doing it because people need to know that. Like, their awards should continue with your staff. But continue. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate that, obviously. And I mean, that said, Tim Beck is a finalist for the Broyles Award.
Yep.
So, and in my mind, he should win that. I think we have a lot of good things going, and that honestly doesn't include Robert Steiner, who's our strength coach, who's been. You look at the way we won that Tennessee game, and you see a physical, tough team for 4 quarters. I mean, that is built in the weight room, and there's a ton of trust built in that room. So. There are a lot of positive things, and I think Indiana has done an incredible job of turning a program around in a short time and doing it on a football-centric culture. I think that's what's most impressive. You do not get the sense that that's a transactional place. Those guys really seem to play like they care about one another and they have a mission together. Well, that's exactly what we've done here, and as we've participated in portal and NIL. We've been able to retain. We've been able to strengthen the top end of our depth chart. We're going to need to do that again as the calendar turns to January, but I think we're really well positioned. Obviously, we're going to be replacing some key members, particularly on offense, and yet you look at what we're returning and you say, hey, this has got the makings of a really good team. Let's go have a great week in the portal and strengthen where we need to strengthen and set our sights not on taking a step back, but actually progressing forward on the goals.
Tell me when you need to go here because I know you're busy, but I want to get to a couple of things briefly. You're not having to recruit your own roster all that much. Your top players aren't leaving. I love that for you because they were going to Bama and Georgia. Now you're getting some young guys, but you have a nucleus now. The leader of that group, Pavia, got his final game coming up. Have you thought about that? Like what he's meant, and whatever happens with the Heisman. The bowl game itself, that's the game. That's going to be cool for him and you and what he's meant to the program.
It'll be emotional in the best of ways. I mean, I don't know. I think you go through these seasons and you spend so much time around. He and I were just texting after practice today about My daughter right now, I went to, like basically tuck her in last night, and she was reading a book, and like on the back of her bed, she has prominently displayed Pavia for Heisman two-turn. It's like this blanket, and I sent him the picture of it just to, I mean, because this is it all, it's family, it's
Yeah,
personal. I
yeah.
mean, my kids love him. They're gonna miss him. We were texting back and forth about we got a month left together, and I think in so many ways for Diego, um, this will always be home for him. This is always a place of belonging. I mean, he's going to go down as one of the greatest to ever do it here. And so I think there's in some ways this is only the beginning. I hope for him to make his off-season home in Nashville, and I hope I hope I'm seeing him every day. I think that that'll be the case, but we're going to enjoy this last few weeks together. I'm going to really soak up that game in Tampa, and just the opportunity to share a field with them one last time, as in addition to all our seniors, and then we're going to celebrate it the right way afterwards, man. And I look forward to that. It's going to be emotional, but also a great celebration.
Let's hypothetically say he wins the Heisman. Will you go out and throw down with him in the party and whatever he's throwing afterwards?
And probably not. I'm getting too old for that. But yeah, I'll be happy for him too. And obviously what a moment for him.
Man,
First of all, well deserved.
absolutely.
But like you said earlier too, I mean that is the idea that we could have a Heisman Trophy in our lobby. I made this joke last week. I don't have a place to put it right now. We'll put it in the snack station. But what I do know is we're gonna need, as we build this new facility, to come up with a sizable trophy case, because this is just the beginning. Both the individual awards and also the team awards. I mean, such a great time to be here at Vanderbilt.
I totally agree, man. You guys include your entire team and program, top to bottom. Tremendous job. And I said Indiana, not just here to stay in the Big Ten. They're here. They're proclaiming their dominance right now. They're a national power. You guys are not a one and done either. I believe that too, just based on how you're building the program. You tried to play a game last week, legitimately, right? You had to do it out of the country if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Notre Dame well. You know Freeman. I'm assuming you called them. They were ahead of you. They're right there. I don't know if they thought they were in the bubble or not. Have you heard from Freeman at all? Like, would you say maybe we should have played you last week? And where would you have played?
Well, what we were researching was playing in Puerto Rico. The two options we had were Puerto Rico and Hawaii. Those are the exemptions, and
Okay.
obviously Puerto Rico is a little closer. But I think in a lot of ways, I mean, we were kind of one of one,
Absolutely.
because we were 14th, and it felt like Notre Dame was kind of at that point kind of a lock to get in.
Yeah.
I think Miami knew that chips could fall their way. At the time before Tuesday's release, it was Utah was the other one that was ahead of us. They then fell behind us, but they moved Texas ahead of us. So I'm not sure that Texas was going to be interested in playing a 13th game.
Yeah.
We were in a unique position, and we did all the research. I didn't reach out to anyone personally. I know
Okay.
our department did to other departments, and it just, again, there was too much. We had nothing to lose, everything to gain. That wasn't true for everyone else. I respect their positions too, but again, we talked about it. I mean, you talk about what an incredible story to have a 13th game played, out of the country or out of the contiguous 48. I mean, what an incredible, that's the storyline to beat all storylines, I think.
The viewership would be amazing for that. I know you're happy with the bowl game. I'm thinking to myself, what if Vanderbilt played Notre Dame? They just went to play somewhere in Puerto Rico and they did their own bowl game. Could you do this for the spring game if you wanted to?
There's talk around that. I actually don't. I think in the FCS level, maybe or Division II level, perhaps they've started to allow for these games. And then I believe there was a waiver filed a year ago. I don't want to.
It was you're right. It was Deion Sanders
Yes.
and Syracuse as well.
Yes, that's right. And I think that waiver was denied.
Yeah.
There's logistical issues with it. But yeah, it's interesting. I think when we see the playoff expand, which is going to happen, it's going this time of year is going to be so exciting because week in, week out, you're going to see these games. They're going to be great matchups. I haven't checked the lines just because I don't typically live there. But I'm assuming you talked about the lines being, are they dramatic? Is that the gap between the two teams
You talking about spread?
in terms of the betting lines?
Oh man, I can look it up right now for you. I mean, we're talking about Tulane and James Madison. These games are blowouts. I mean,
Yeah.
we've already seen Ole Miss and Tulane play. But
Right.
yes, yeah, they're strong. 16 and a
Yes.
half? Okay, 16 and a half. There you go. Thank you, Dylan.
Yeah.
16 and a half.
And a year from now, hopefully you're seeing a 16 team playoff where
Yeah.
all these, I mean, you're talking about 2.5, 1.5, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
it just really great matchups. I think that'd be so exciting for the sport. And it gives teams that deserve a chance, the chance. And I think as a competitor, that's all you ask for. I mean, shoot, you just want the opportunity to go in and give it your best shot. And again, for the system where it is right now, the selection process where it is, we didn't do enough this season, and we own that all the way. And yet we still believe in our team. So we're going to go finish strong and try to position Team 6 to not have to clear all the hurdles that Team 5 did to be recognized. I think that's really important with respect to the way we finish.
Agreed. Yeah, it's 21 for Oregon over James Madison, 16 and a half for Ole Miss over Tulane, just to clarify for our viewers. The only reason they didn't do the spring game and approve that, I think, was just based on some other programs in the conferences had already had spring game or spring football. So they didn't have the ability to do that.
To do it.
It would be fair. Fire away on this. I mean, go play Notre Dame or somebody elsewhere if you can. I think it'd be tremendous just to do your own thing. The let us in tour is what you can call it. And you just change, then go beat their ass because I know that's the mentality. That's the mentality for the bowl game too. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys play with this group for the final time. It'll be cool. I'm disappointed. I know you are too. I think it's very good that your team wants to play. That's legit, and the entire program has been legit this year. Thanks for the visits, and let's catch up before the bowl.
Hud, great to be with you, man. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Let me live vicariously through you at the Heisman ceremony, if you don't mind.
I love it.
Pavia for Heisman. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to OutKick Hot Mic.
Daily content and more at OutKick Hot Mic on YouTube.